It's just after 2:30 on 891 ABC Radio, Adelaide, South Australia and Broken Hill. Our musical heritage is so rich here in South Australia, and so too is our museum setup. Gosh, we've got some amazing museums right across the state. And so you would think somewhere in the great land of South Australia, there would be a South Australian Music Museum. Well, guess what? There's not, but there soon will be. It's going to be part of the redeveloped Thebarton Theatre, and its co-directors join me now. Victor Marshall, hello, and Jordan Lennon, thank you for coming in today.
How you doing? Hey, Jo.
First of all, can you believe we don't already have a South Australian Music Museum?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. You know, South Australia has a massive rich history of music, and we've got so many exports of beautiful musicians, incredible artists, and nothing's really been celebrated in terms of a museum as a one-stop shop for everybody to come and actually appreciate it in one sort of house. Yeah. So that's the essence of the museum, and to come down and have a look, and everything's there, everything's in one space, and celebrating our rich history in terms of SA music.
So it's a brand new museum, and is this an idea of yours as co-directors? How did this idea come about?
Well, we noticed when we went around, you go to museums, say on North Terrace, there's not much to do with music in, say, the South Australian Museum on North Terrace, and there's not a lot of focus on anything sort of after World War II.
Oh.
So
there's a fair bit after World War II, as it turns out. Yeah.
So we wanted to celebrate South Australian music, and it sort of came about when we were working with Bob Lott last year, who's been running Thebarton Theatre since 1979. He's been redeveloping the theatre with the West Torrens Council, and the building behind it, which used to be the Thebarton Council, which no longer exists, that building was empty. So we got together and had this idea of that's where we'll house all of this fabulous memorabilia that he's collected over the years, I've collected, and Jordan, and another director, Rino Cufone. He used to run a community television show called Feedback Television in the 90s, and so he's got footage of the first big day out. He's got footage of
so much.
Oh, wow.
There's so much.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So am I right in thinking that you guys have got all this awesome stuff, you've got all these memories, you've got memorabilia, you just don't have anywhere to put it, and then you're also finding out other people who've got all this amazing stuff as well?
Oh, there's so much. There's so much, and we're putting a call out as well, might I add, to anyone else that has any memorabilia whatsoever in the form of both media and posters and physical stuff and stage-worn clothes and instruments and anything like that. You know, if anyone's got anything that's tied in with the history of SA music, or even touring acts coming through, you know, that something that they have used or on stage when they've come through Adelaide, or
people have
like
still
that.
got their tickets from the Beatles,
Big
for
time.
example.
Absolutely.
So it's that kind of stuff you might like?
100%. And we've got some great goodies in terms of Beatles memorabilia as well. I won't give away too much, but there's some really great stuff that we're going to be displaying in the museum as well.
I'm not keen on secrets. Tell me your secrets. What kind of stuff you don't have to tell me all your secrets, just some of your secrets.
There's some great stuff in Victor's collection that he's got that's been unseen for years, and even going back to Feedback TV that Reno used to run. He's got unseen footage from, like Victor said before, Big Day Out. He's got the last Lion Hotel gig fully filmed of the Angels.
Oh, no, that is precious.
It was the last gig in the old Lion Hotel before they bulldozed it and made it a car park. So there's stuff like that we've got that we can't wait for the public to see. So there'll be little, lots of media spots within the museum that you can sort of put some headphones on and actually see this stuff for yourself actually in the museum. So it's really, really exciting.
You're hearing here from John Lennon and Jordan Lennon. I'm sorry, Jordan Lennon.
I wish I was John Lennon, but
so my mind was too much in the history of music and the Beatles in Adelaide. Jordan Lennon and Victor Marshall, and there is this new South Australian music museum coming to the Thebarton Theatre. And Victor, you were talking about the first big day out. When was that? Do you recall the year?
1993.
And have you
94.
seen the footage?
Oh, yes. Actually, it's surprising because there's not as many people as you'd think would be there.
Yeah.
There's been a few surprising things. On the website, when we were going through, we've got a section called Adelaide's or South Australia's biggest hits. And when you think of South Australian music, you're thinking of big hits, or you think a biggest hit would be like a K-San by Cold Chisel and Am I Ever Gonna See Your Face Again by the Angels, but they actually weren't charting, very high charting hits. They weren't top 10s, and the top 10 hits are surprising, or the top 20 hits, and you go, oh, I've never heard of that song, or like Into the Heat by the Angels actually charted higher than, Take a Long Line, or the ones that get played on the radio regularly. Bob Lott has shone a light on early 20th century and before that, people like Carmel Hackendorf, Peter Dawson, who, until he sort of mentioned him, I didn't realise he was billed as the world's greatest singer, and he was from Adelaide. People like Sir Robert Helpman, going into the mid-20th century with the Countdown era. People talk often about Cold Chisel and the Angels and those sorts of hero bands that we have in South Australia, but we forget about the individuals that are in other well-known bands like Martin Armiger from the Sports, or Ali Fowler from the Shantuzis, Alan Sandow, the drummer of Sherbet, and also the venues. That people connect with the venues that they went to in their youth, the 20 Plus Club or Jules nightclub or The Rocks, or and there's so many that aren't around anymore. All the record places that people used to go to. There's a wonderful picture of Debbie Harry on Hindley Street with a journalist called Stuart Coupe that you might know, and it's great to see Third World Bookshop behind where people bought their records, but also position it in today's landscape of Adelaide, where you go, if she was taking that photo today, she'd be standing out the front of the wool shed on Hindley Street. And people can stand there. I didn't realise there was a memorial to Elvis in the Botanic Gardens.
Yeah, I had no idea about that.
Is there?
Yeah, there is.
What sort of memorial?
As you walk in from North Terrace and you go down that long laneway, right at the end of it is this sort of metal arch structure, and that was put there by the Elvis fan club in, I think, 1982.
Oh, they were very active, the Elvis fan club, obviously.
Look out, man.
You're hearing here from Victor Marshall and Jordan Lennon, who are co-directors of the South Australian Music Museum. When is this going to be up and running? When can we step in and see it all?
So Theby actually opens up, is it the 1st of October, Victor?
Yes.
1st of October, and they've got shows going back in there from then. So we're looking at the end of this year, early next year at the latest. So
now, I hope you don't mind me saying, but when you both walked in, I said to the producers, who are these two young, cool dudes that I don't know, what are we talking about with these guys? And they said, oh, they're the Music Museum people. And I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't two young, really hip dudes. Where did you get all of this knowledge and understanding about the history of music, and where does that passion come from, Victor?
I used to help out David Day, mentored by him, and a lot of others since, Bruce Howe from Fraternity and John Pemberton, and my passion for music actually comes from coming home from school and watching the Monkees on television. But Jordan, I was friends with Jordan before I knew about his heritage. His dad used to run the Largs Pier Hotel.
Right.
And so all these artists would go, Rick Lennon used to book us for the Largs Pier and Cold Chisel and AC/DC and Fraternity and everything. And
I think for both of us, we've always grown up with either our family or close friends or anything in the industry, and it's obviously rubbed off on us somehow, So hence why we saw quite an important thing to do was to preserve SA's musical history and do it from a place, I guess there's some young faces,
We've got calls coming in for you on 1300 222 891. Stuart Coupe, music journalist and author. You must just be buzzing with excitement about the idea, Stuart.
I think it's anything that preserves music history, cultural history is a very, very fine thing by me.
And Debbie Harry, the picture that was just discussed by Victor?
I missed that, but I'm assuming that's included or as part of it.
Yeah, that's going to be a part of it for sure. And
right.
And what else would you like to see included?
Oh, look, I don't. I mean, Adelaide. I mean, I went to university in Adelaide. That's when the photo of me and Debbie Harry in Hindley Street was taken. So look, anything that captures what was distinctive about Adelaide music in that era. I mean, my fondest memories probably were buying records at Modern Love Songs, which was and there was another one off Rundle Mall I remember going to, and also I spent many nights at the Tivoli, and I thought that was such an incredibly wonderful venue where I saw everyone from Dr. Feelgood through to the Sports and JoJo Zepp and the Falcons and huge number. And I have very fond memories of the Arkabar, going to see everyone from the Angels to Sebastian Hardy, and look, Adelaide was important because I shared a house with David Woodhall, and he had his radio show on the ABC, which was a pioneering ABC rock and roll radio show, and Jim McLeod had jazz tracks, and all of that was coming out of the Adelaide studio in that era. So it was a vibrant time. So anything that captures that period, which is important to me, but what happened before and subsequently is fantastic.
All of it, Stuart. Now, you should see the fellas' eyes just brighten with all of those stories. They're loving it. And I've also heard from Bet from Barmera. Hello, Bet.
Hello.
Now, you've got a museum in Barmera, is that right?
Yes, it's for Rocky Page. He used to be on the radio. He travelled with Slim Dusty, and he was pretty well known. So I've actually got his thing, the desk thing that he had in the 5RM.
Yes,
the radio station.
Mixing desk.
Yeah, where he played his records and that. You'd send in. It was time when you had to write in.
Yes.
You'd write in so that you'd get a request. But yeah, it's set up to not acknowledge him and all the people that he dealt with, plus others. And also at the back of the museum, we've got the Hall of Hands of Fame. The
cool.
We used to have every long weekend, June long weekend, used to have people, stars like, they used to come anyway.
Carol Sturzel and Johnny Mack and all those country
all those sort of
artists.
guys. And Costa, Stan Costa and Slim and all those people.
Oh, God, that is fantastic, Bet. Thank you so much. Yeah, again, the eyes are lighting up. This one from Chelsea and Allendale North says, I was at the Angels when we brought down the old Lion, the last show. I would love to see the footage and take a trip down memory lane. The museum sounds fantastic, says Chelsea. Another one says, wow, what an exciting asset to have in South Australia. I'm so excited for the opening. And Ian from Semaphore Park says, my great-great-uncle is Peter Dawson. Some very early recordings of him on YouTube.
Awesome.
You are bound for success, my friends. This is going to be so great.
It's so crazy. Like, we only launched last week, and so many people have come out of the woodwork that we wouldn't even dream of. It's great just hearing stories and people being so forthcoming and support, and it's been absolutely incredible. So
I will do a live outside broadcast on your, what, you probably want to go top shelf and get Sonia and Jules doing a breakfast show or Nikolai on Drive. But
we'll get Jules
Stephen,
to
look at Stephen. He's like, no, we're taking it. We will do a live outside broadcast from your museum when it comes, South Australian Music Museum, toward the end of the year. Thanks, fellas. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Joe.
Are you looking for more stuff? Sorry, I should ask you. If
Absolutely.
anyone's got stuff, how do they get in contact with you?
You can go to samusicmuseum.com. There's a contact page. We've also got a Facebook and an Instagram, but it's a non-for-profit registered charity, and it's got tax deductibility gift status, so you can claim it back on your tax if you're so inclined.
That is really good. Good to meet you both. Good luck with the next 6 months.
Thank you. Thanks so much,
Joe.
Bye. Victor Marshall and Jordan Lennon, co-directors of the SA Music Museum on 891 ABC Radio Adelaide, South Australia and Broken Hill. It is time to resolve this song quiz. That's what you've got. Bill's from Mile End. Hello, Bill.
Hello, how are you?
I'm so good. What do you think it is?
I think it might be Santa Monica by Everclear.
Ooh, I can hear why. That is not correct, my friend. Thank you.
Yeah.
See you later. Jen's from Strathalbyn. Hello. Ooh, hang hang on. Sorry, Jen, I pressed the wrong button. Hello, Jen.
Okay, hi Joe.
Hey, and what do you think the song is?
I wondered if it might be In Excess, Listen Like Thieves.
Very similar sounding, Jen. Thank you. See you later.
No.
And Andrew's in McGill. Hello, Andrew.
Hi, Joe. How are you?
What do you reckon about this South Australian Music Museum? Is it something that you'd like to go and check out?
Oh, it'd be fascinating. I reckon it'd be very good to good to have a look at.
Here's the song quiz. Now, you've got it right. What do you think it is?
Do I really? That's amazing. It's Leaving Home by Jebediah.
Do you love Jebediah?
I did see them live earlier. Was it earlier this year? Yeah, it was earlier this year at Lookout Festival at Point Malcolm. Sorry, at Disney Semaphore.
Yeah.
And they were really good. First time I saw them live, and I thought they were absolutely fantastic.
It's still rocking.
I do love Living Home. I think I heard it and I thought, there's no way it's any other song.
Yep. This has gone to the right person. Thank you so much. See you later, Andrew.
Thank you, Joe. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Were you laughed at by your friends? Or were you lost for words when everybody finally